Hi guys, welcome back to Fata Morgana. Now I want to load my save. Look at that, Morgana, but her face isn't totally wrecked and her face looks like that of a normal person. I mean, I'm sorry, but if that doesn't tell you that we are far into the story and that everything is changing now, I don't know what does. And if anything, there is an indication that Morgana might be able to kind of have another conversation with the people that she has hated so much in her life, and the people that have formed so much hatred that hundreds of years pass with Morgana and Gazelle, and yet she still wants to endlessly take out her hatred and make other people's lives miserable. I mean, hatred that bad that has stayed for that long, it's really impressive that it's just that impactful really to her. So for somebody who has been affected by these people that much to then have a change of heart, I mean, I'm sorry, but if that doesn't imply change, I don't know what does. Anyway, yeah, let's read. Let's go from the backlog. Yeah, I'm saying that like that's something unique. I do this literally every time. Yeah. Yeah. It was weird about Morgana feeling like, I suppose just feeling like her life is such a joke in the sense that she has cursed the wrong person, but I suppose also just being shocked at the fact that Jacobo could do something like this. I'm surprised she only noticed now, to be honest. Even Morgana is saying that, that's interesting. Yeah, but that is interesting. I suppose Morgana could have continued her malice. Of course, she would have had a direction in where she is going. She would have known what she is doing just because of the fact that Michelle is not there to put into perspective how her malice, well, what caused her malice isn't the full picture. Of course he is, yeah. And isn't it interesting, some sort of indication of guilt from Morgana. Proper change in her character. Yeah, totally. It's Michelle and Morgana. Gazelle has just vanished because why not? Seriously, what has happened to Gazelle? I mean, I get that she faded out of the mansion, and I suppose when Michelle set her free, it was kind of as if her soul was kind of becoming detached from the mansion, but yeah, it's just unusual. It really is. Yeah, and yeah, Morgana just probably being really quite shocked at the fact that Michelle has no discrimination and no what was the word? Prejudice. I was thinking, I thought persuasion, and then I thought persecution. So I had the word in my head, I just forgot what it sounded like. Well, no, I had the meaning of what I wanted to say in my head, but I forgot the sound of the word that contributes to, no, sorry, that links to said meaning. Weird. Anyway, I don't know why you guys should care, but yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and isn't it interesting, that uncertainty? It is interesting that Michel feels like, well, Michel has kind of become the best person that he can, and he has become an angel as a result of Giselle, let's be honest here. And so I suppose now Michel is kind of being like Giselle, but to Morgana, in a way. Just totally making it so that she can see another perspective and another way of living, really, and actually letting go of her hatred. Yeah. So Mel actually materialises. Well, his soul materialises. That's interesting. It's interesting that even though this didn't have an implication on the real world, it has kind of made a difference in this in this other reality that they're in now. I'm thinking of it like this. The real world is one timeline, and then the world of the dead is another timeline, and Michel going back and influencing the past of the world of the dead has influenced the future of the world of the dead, but not the world of the living. And I suppose the influence can only happen now. Yeah, it is unusual. Yeah, she's being very, very direct. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be forgiveness, and if it's finished, if the curse is finished, then that means he can wither away in peace, really, and die. Yeah, fair enough. And I suppose it is interesting that Morgana won't forgive any of these people. She really won't, but at the same time, she will kind of let go of the curse, because she just doesn't really think these people were deserving of it, because they're not fully malicious. They are not people who don't have circumstances, and they don't have reasons for their evil. And I think when she realises that, maybe she just realises that it's kind of unfair to curse them in a way. Yeah. But then you were forced into this, and I don't really think they could have become friends after that. And isn't it interesting that they haven't? It just really poses the question of how could everything have changed if they were friends. Yeah, sold her out. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, I mean, obviously he doesn't have any other choice, but at the same time, if you've actually experienced this, of course that is the truth, but at the same time you just find it so hard to accept because this is what has happened to you, not somebody else. Yeah, fair enough. So I'd assume when she says the words, she's referring to forgiveness. Wait, no, actually. But I suppose, true, but yeah, I suppose you could think either forgiveness here is being talked about or being friends. It's interesting that she can really see this. And if I'm going to be honest, I think Michelle was doing this to Morgana at really the right time. If this was fresh in her mind, I think she wouldn't have been accepting anything just because of how much pain she would have been in. Even Morgana's understanding. Yeah, so he was a victim, and yet at the same time, he has been punished by Morgana. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that even Morgana feels as if she has a part in this now. Yeah, I suppose so. He just had the most easy solution. But to be fair, I mean, sure, that's the case. But at the same time, I mean, you're in such a difficult situation with your sister and also Yukimasa threatening you. So who could blame him? Who could blame him? Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it is. Go, Michelle! Ironically, a trait that's really similar to Michelle. Ugly speckles. No. Yeah, she's totally gone. her rightful place is nothing. Well, absolutely nothingness. Absolute nothingness, even. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. She would forgive anybody, and I suppose obviously she'd be critical, analytical, and if Mel clearly wasn't learning from this situation, she wouldn't be able to forgive him, but he cares. Of course he'll be forgiven. And let's be honest, the white-haired girl is somebody who is the type to give others a second chance just because of how kind she is, really. Yeah, Mel really is being the best he has been. And that is all as a result of Michelle. He kind of trained all of these people up. They've realised their mistakes and their wrongdoings, and now they are better than they've ever been before, really. Yeah. Yeah, but where is the rightful place, though? I really do wonder. I just wonder what's going to happen after. Maybe he's going to continue living. Oh my god, that's interesting. That's weird. Oh, actually, okay, so this is kind of like an explanation of just what has happened, okay. So that's interesting. I think what has happened is, while Mel has definitely... So I think what has happened is the time... So this world was illusionary that Michelle was in. But at the same time, the influences that it had on the souls of everybody had kind of changed everything in the present. No, I think this was an illusionary world and he never travelled back in time and everything happened in the present and all of these souls had just subconsciously learned more. They had actually experienced these things and all of the souls were banished there to that illusionary world because Morgana just wanted to see... I mean, I'm sorry, but somebody as committed and serious as Michelle, he may be just as mad as he is brilliant, to be honest. I mean, you just want to take the risk that he is brilliant and kind of see what he has to offer. I think that's what Morgana did. And there was maybe some indication that Morgana does want Michelle to kind of set her free, really. But, yeah, I think it just... They only have faint memories after all of it ceases to exist. And by the addition of those faint memories, they subconsciously feel what Michelle has made them feel. And then that kind of causes them to be able to change situations like this and act like they have never acted before. And I think we're really going to see this in Yukimasa and obviously Jacopo's conversations as well. Yeah. I suppose he was able to justify it because of the fact that he felt as if he was looking after Nelly, but the only thing is obviously he was killing Nelly. That's the ironic thing. It's hard to believe. Yeah. Isn't it kind of creepy to think about the fact that that might be possible? Kind of reminds me of Subahibi, if you've read Looking Glass Insects. Kind of the concept with Zakuro and Usami and Ayumi as well. About the spiral matai related stuff. Kind of reminds me of that. And obviously how it was then adapted in Tsui no Sora remake as well. Yeah, he's gone. His soul is no longer cursed. God, Morgana's sprite looks so unusual. She looks cool. True. That is very, very true. A good person can do even worse. To be honest, anybody who does a crime who is a good person, it's kind of worse than when a bad person does it, because in order to do said crime, the good person has had to change. And they've had to really, really gather up the willpower and motivate themselves to do the crime. So I suppose a good person doing a bad thing is more significant than a bad person doing a bad thing sometimes. But obviously, what the significant thing is, if somebody's bad, then what made them become bad? Were they a good person once? Yeah, fair enough. Yukimasa in the cellar. I'd assume. Maybe not. I don't know, I mean, it would be reasonable. Oh, the mirror! Oh, it's another transition. Yeah, it is a cellar. Well, last time we saw this background was after chapter 2, I think. Or maybe there were some other times I didn't remember. Yeah, but that's interesting, I suppose. You have so much regret that you have done an action like this that you kind of blame something outside of yourself so that you don't actually have to face to what you have done. And I mean, especially for somebody like Mel, that would be reasonable because it's traumatic. It really is. I mean, especially getting the arm of your friend. Well, basically getting a friend's arm that has been amputated, obviously very painfully, away from them. Yeah, that would scar anybody. And if it didn't scar somebody, I would have a lot of questions. I'm just trying to remember what Mel actually fully thought when he was doing everything. I suppose he was being really, really bad, but at the same time it was kind of desperation to protect Nelly, and as a result of that he could justify himself doing it. And I suppose he can go into more awful depths it totally shows the change of habit. And it shows Yukimasa's destructive tendencies just completely subsiding. Fair enough. Yeah, and isn't it interesting that even though Morgana is going to set this person's soul free, she still doesn't fully trust him? Yeah, totally reasonable, especially after what had happened. Oh yes, you have done so much to Morgana. I mean, let's be honest, this entire chapter has been just about changing Morgana's view. And what are you to her? Oh, well, just a meat shield. Fair enough. Oh yeah, especially after Michelle died. Yeah, fair enough. So what would happen then? So it's kind of, sure, you have a soul and you can live this really, really unusual way of life in a world that has no human logic and very, very supernatural. But at the same time, obviously, if you fuck up, basically, and if you make it so that you're... I suppose if you make it so that your soul is killed somehow or by somebody else or exterminated like how we did with the white-haired girl, yeah, you would die just like a human being would. Yeah, just something to keep in mind. just yeah. But Michelle properly trusts him. Might be a mistake, might not be. Who knows? I just find it very interesting. She can't let go of her mistrust, and of course she can't. I don't think he's going to be destructive. Yukimasa. So it is interesting that all of the souls are covered in darkness and then their actual forms are allowed to exist. It's really weird that. I just forgot what the darkness signified. I don't know, I can't remember. Very awkward. Oh my god. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Mel didn't say anything, which I'm actually quite surprised about. Yeah. Exactly. Isn't it interesting? Yeah. Just funny that these people both say the same thing. That is true. I mean, that's plot significant. Oh god. Fair. Oh my god, that's hilarious because, yeah, you could interpret this metaphorically. He's a lot better of a man than you think. Or literally, i.e. intersex. God, yeah, I get what Michelle was saying. Was that really necessary? Isn't it interesting how this changes? It's because of his personality rather than his biology. Yeah, fair enough. This is going a bit out of focus. I just find it so surprising that people were saying that Morgana looks similar to the white-haired girl. I mean, maybe that's just in terms of facial structure. Do you know what? I'll look at Morgana's sprite again when I can, because maybe I'll be able to notice some more similarities. Yeah, and it's interesting that she is making this clear. Yeah, that is a very good point. What is actually the point in any of this? In any of this persistence of hatred? Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. God, she sounds properly pissed off. God. Isn't that interesting? And isn't it interesting just how, even though Morgana realises that there isn't much point in continuing to curse these people, you just see this anger. And you can see, even though she has further understanding for what is happening, you just see absolute rage. even though we know about Yukimasa's situation, that still doesn't justify him. And if anything, his situation really does just prove how much of a psychopath he was in the original story. Yeah. To be fair, how do you know that? Fair enough. Yeah, Michelle's just thinking, yeah. And isn't it interesting to think about the fact that he has really, really taken what Michelle has taught him? It is interesting that there is no... I suppose with Yukimasa, there is no apologising, because I suppose he just knows that what he has done is so bad that there is just no point in apologising, just because why should Morgana listen? Why does he deserve to be listened to? If I'm going to be honest, I don't really see the resemblance between Morgana and the white-haired girl. I will just... Do you know what? I actually have some screenshots of some sprites. Store 6. Yeah. If you guys have been seeing my Instagram, I'm kind of repurposing it to document everything that I've read. And yeah, I've kind of... This is obvious. I'm now at the point where I've... It's been a month. It's been going on since my birthday, which is 18th of September, so quite a few months. But yeah, as you can see, the fact that I'm doing Fata Morgana now, it proves that I'm very nearly finished. I just don't see the resemblance. I mean, maybe... No, the hair is definitely similar. You can never not tell me the hair isn't similar. Yeah, they all have reasonably similar hair. They have this fringe. But then everything apart from the fringe is different. yeah, that's interesting. The similarity that you can see there. But yeah, like what I was saying before, the most evil people are the ones who are good because they have had to have the most willpower and the most change of heart to change. If you've read Higurashi, think about Tatari Goroshi. I mean, I think that is a really good example. And yeah, maybe Onikakushi, but Tatari Goroshi is probably the best example of them. And think about Keiichi. Suppose so. I suppose it's her realising just how unnecessary all of this is and how these people have circumstances, they have reasons they have done this. They're not just sadistic people that wanted to make her life the most awful. They weren't people just, I don't know, put on one of God's trials. They had all of their reasons for doing it, and I suppose now that she understands that, it's just a lot more awful that she has done all of the things that she has. It is, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that this is all put on Michelle. Yeah. Yeah, my god. When it's saying the mockery, I think it's referring to the portrait that was sent to Michelle. Yeah. There are so many people. And if anything, ironically, there were more people in Michelle's life than Morgana's life. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Does the list ever stop? Yeah. Could you ever forgive them? That's fair enough, and I mean all of these people have realised what they have done is awful, and they are not obviously going into a worse path. All of them have been taught by Michelle, and they have been able to see their ways, and they have been able to change themselves as a result of that. But obviously if they aren't, then no, that's fair enough. If I'm going to be honest, a lot of these people I'm just genuinely impressed that he can do this, because I mean sure, somebody can do a really bad thing and then become a new person, but they've still done that really bad thing. It's so hard to do what Michelle is saying that he can do here. Yeah, that must really, really be an odd thought for Morgana. Yeah, and I suppose this is kind of why Morgana felt as if she never really wanted to forgive them. And you are thinking of setting this person's soul free. This is going to be the most exciting one. Jakob's solution. Not solution, atonement. Oh yeah, what is the name of this chapter called? Or is it still Revolution? Yeah. What was I going to do? I don't know. Is the honest answer? Yeah, this is going to be so cool. Do you know what? I really do wonder what's going to happen in Requiem for Innocence. And I just wonder how it's going to lead on from everything here. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. So I suppose while Michel was in his own illusionary world, he had an illusion of Gazelle. No. I think Gazelle genuinely existed in Michel's illusionary world, but then she was lost to the darkness of the mansion. Which is actually quite unusual. I hope we are given an explanation for this. God, that really is something that you never would have expected Morgana to say. But it shows that Morgana really, really admires Michel, if you ask me. And it shows that, if anything, all of this has really had an effect on her. Yeah, totally. Interesting. I don't blame her whatsoever. I really do wonder if we're going to reunite with Gazelle soon. God, this is going to be quite something. So it feels like he's really psyched himself up for this moment. Oh my god. To think about the fact that he actually is saying that. Well, at least these people are now probably both over 1,000 years old, so yeah, the age gap matters a little bit less, I suppose. Yeah. Oh yeah. This must be very painful. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you prioritized yourself over a girl in dying need. Yeah, fair enough. Both mentally and physically. You don't deserve it, no. Yeah, sure, you've atoned, but how? What does that mean? Yeah, this is the last thing you would have expected. Yeah. Oh, it really did. Yeah. She can never ever feel anything but hatred and disgust and detest, of course, but she's choosing not to take that detest out on him. So it's interesting. I think Morgana still hates these people deeply, and obviously as a result of that she can't forgive them, but she is facing them and she is freeing their souls, because she just realises the taking out of her hatred makes her as bad as them, and there's no point in it anymore. Yeah, totally reasonable. But you still fucked it up, but yeah, that does make sense. It's because of Maria. And because of your background as well, and the Campanella's being, well, father and grandfather being killed by the father of the Berzatis, of course. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so I suppose they do have the same aura because they are ultimately the same person. They have the same origins. But, yeah, obviously the white-haired girl is simply just a Fata Morgana, and it is interesting. Whenever somebody says that Morgana is quite similar to the white-haired girl, she goes hostile. She really does. Yeah, you really think you're going to get somebody with a face like that to smile? She looks so angry. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I suppose you've had such bad goings on, so smiling at the end of it, that just would not be right. He ended it on a smile though. That must have been tough. I really do get the impression that Morgana is very, very short-tempered. Must be quite difficult to talk to. Yeah, totally. I suppose when Jacopo had feelings for Morgana, Morgana really, really valued the care that he had put in, and also just in general, well, I suppose the care, and also the companionship, and also her just being able to be surrounded by kind people for the first time in her life. Reasonable. Fair enough. He saved her before he had completely declined himself. And if anything, I suppose the root cause of all of this decline was her. Him wanting to protect her and him wanting to show her the world. But if I'm going to be honest, I think the root cause, the actual root cause of all of this was a lack of education and a lack of ideas about the reality of being a ruler and why it is definitely not as simple as you thought it would have been. Let's be honest, Jacopo did approach that like an idiot, really. He just never really considered the true difficulty of ruling, really. He lost sight of himself for Morgana. Fair enough. I like that a lot, yeah. Isn't it interesting just seeing worth, and if anything, Michelle feeling sorry for Morgana and just realising how her world has been totally affected by injustice. And if it wasn't for Michelle, if it wasn't for Morgana forcing Michelle to feel pain and forcing understanding of herself, then of course this never would have happened. Yeah, Michelle wondering sometimes, God, isn't it? Oh my God, what a gut punch for Jacopo. And isn't it interesting, just the truth? She can't smile for him, but she can smile for Michelle. She can smile. Morgana, somebody like her can smile. I mean, if that isn't weird, then I don't know what is. Fair. But at the same time, it's totally understandable as to why Morgana would never ever think that Jacopo is deserving of this smile. Yeah, what now? God. Isn't it so weird to think about the fact that they could leave? But the only thing is, I mean, if they leave, what then? Is that the end of the story? I mean, obviously, it's not the end of the story. We've got... What I want to do after this is get see all of the alternative ways this story could just totally crumble. Because Chapter 8 does have a fuck ton of choices. We've seen 2 out of, I think, 8. I think 8? I don't know. Dead ends. So obviously I want to see all of them. We have a choice. Interesting. Hell yeah, we need to look at what's happening with Gazelle. Or is it her own? Whose soul is it? Oh, interesting. So we're now going to get a final confirmation about who the man in the painting is. I'd assume it was Georges, but I don't know. Interesting that Didier isn't here. Can I just mention that? It's just Georges. God, the irony. An artist trapped in his paintings for all eternity. God. I suppose he would. Yeah, true. Yeah, but I suppose obviously once he had recognised what the painting was... Sorry, what am I saying? Once he recognised himself, of course he was able to recognise what was inside said painting. But it does kind of make sense, and it's interesting seeing Georges' guilt. She didn't know. What? True, even though this is the biggest thing you will probably ever be told. He just really doesn't realise how big this is. Yeah. And isn't it interesting to think about the fact that Didier is not here, yet Georges is? And I think that gives the indication that Georges felt a ton of guilt, and he was someone who had supported Michel to the end. Didier didn't whatsoever though, and that's probably why he's not here. He chose his... I mean, obviously he would have to, it's his job, but there was no affection, there was no indication of the fact that he was a family member. There was no apology, no silent, no subtle apology, no nothing. There really wasn't. It was as if they weren't even brothers. So it really does beg to question just what Didier thought. And maybe Amy did, and maybe Amy convinced him to think differently of Michel, who knows. And maybe Georges just didn't have the strength. I do wonder what's going to be said about Didier. What do you mean by who whore? No, I don't mean whore. I mean who... How? I don't know. Fuck off. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god, I really just... I really was about to just confirm that the definition of this is something that is stated on Urban Dictionary. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Tossing rubbish into the painting. I remember that, yeah. That was when Michel was trying to discover himself again. That is interesting. That is interesting. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. It is interesting that it's as if Michel has summoned this soul, which is quite unusual. No, I don't know. Why is Georges even here? Oh, if it's deeply bound, then that does kind of make sense. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose he's full of regret and then he wants to be able to be somewhere he is near Michel in. It's kind of his own way of atoning for his actions of not being able to protect Michel. Yeah, and isn't it interesting that Didier is not here? Amy is not here. Well, of course Amy wouldn't be here, she's a psychopath. But Didier is not here, that's just the most significant thing. mean, he wouldn't be here if he wasn't sorry. And especially when he was saying to this, he was just saying, if you see Michelle, if you know who Michelle is, tell him I'm sorry and I'm sorry for everything I've got. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. To be fair, I think Georges did not want that painting to be made, and I think he was forced to make it. I knew it. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Fair. Well, at least the brother is loving, and at least he feels this regret, and at least he apologises. He's a way better brother than Didier was. Yeah, and of course, if only the world was like this, that would be so ideal. But kind of like what Jakobos said, the real world is far from the ideal world. Can I just mention, this must have been such a rare mindset for the time period he was living in. Yeah. And isn't it interesting, no matter how much he changes, you can really see that just at the heart of himself, he really is the same person. Fair enough. Isn't that interesting? No matter how much... No, I just really like it because you see a common ground with Michelle and Morgana. You see that no matter how much they change, they are still the same person at the core of their personality. I mean, look at Morgana and look at her just saying, curse him, take revenge. Never ever have forgiveness. Give him what he deserves. That's interesting. Yeah, and you can see he's really got a lack of emotional intelligence and just recognition for what he's doing to be wrong. Yeah, I suppose what he did is he kind of interpreted everybody through his worldview, and he didn't really put any consideration into somebody having a different way of thinking to him, and that's why he made this mistake, because he kind of underestimated the impact this painting would have had on Michelle, it seems. I can just imagine Morgana being so angry and saying this in such a cross and hostile manner. Fair enough. You can just see how guilty Georges is, because he doesn't realise just what this is, really. No, sorry, what was I saying? Well, he's guilty, so as a result of that, he really doesn't think anything of getting punishment for what he has done. Yeah. I hope Michelle says no. True. That was never something I expected. I mean, yeah, Michelle definitely didn't take up art. I'm surprised that Michelle actually did this. I thought he was going to resist it with everything he has. What? Oh my god, they're meant to be human beings. Oh my god, it's Ugly Speckles Mark II. So I suppose there's... I don't really know who these people could be. I mean, I'd assume Michelle's family, but you would have thought if it was the family, then 5 people would be there, surely? Maybe these are the people that Michelle kind of acknowledges now. Father's not on there. Maybe it could be just well, I don't know. I don't actually know. Yeah, who are these people? Because there should be 5 of them if there were all of the... There were 5. Demonic being. Oh well. Pictures are subject to interpretation. There's no absolute meaning that you can derive from a picture. Maybe. Oh, now I know what it is. It's Michelle, Gazelle, Didier, and Georges. The ideal life that he wanted to live. Obviously with Ugly Speckles Mark II. Fair enough. Is he literally going to carry the painting? God. The definition of a love-hate relationship. God, so think about the fact that there's an ending where we never ever see Michelle. Sorry, Georges. I meant. Fair enough. A full-grown man turned painting. That's hilarious. And they're not very similar. If anything, Michelle looks more like Didier than Georges. Do you know what? That's exactly what I'm thinking. Jesus Christ. I couldn't think of a weirder conversation even if I tried. Ah, yes. I've seen this in a comedy before. Give all the biological details of what causes what happens in your body as you laugh. To be fair, let's be honest, Michelle was one of the most serious characters. Yeah, now we've got to get Morgana to laugh. And what's really nice about Morgana and Michelle is now they're really being able to spend time in a peaceful manner, and they are making the most of their situation, and they're very equal as well. They really are. Fair enough. Oh my god, witch rather than girl. Yeah, you can definitely tell that he hasn't interacted with Morgana much. I mean, he doesn't even know what she looks like. I mean, he has been the one person who hasn't commented on her changed face. Fair enough. Oh, there we go. Oh god. I mean, he's not wrong, but yeah. I don't know if that would happen. Hitting on Morgana, oh god. Well, at least he's a little bit more similar to the age of Morgana. Oh god. Old Michelle. Chat. Can't chat. What? She's probably taking immense offense to that. Look it. Oh god, that gives me bad school memories of Look It. Fuck that. Oh, I fucking hate that. Anyway. Fair enough. Fair. I can see that. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, holy shit. I really do wonder what's going to happen now. Band of merry men. True. Seriously, what is happening with Gazelle? I really hope we can find out what actually has happened to her. I mean, sure, her connection has been freed from the mansion, but it's just surprising that she's disappeared. So I suppose in that last part of chapter 7, before the beginning of door 8, Gazelle had been freed, and then obviously she went, and then I think that Gazelle in chapter 8 was illusionary. It was kind of like Michelle's good side of him, just encouraging him, and obviously that good side took the form of Gazelle. And I mean, it is an illusion, and we are in the world of the dead, so it wouldn't be surprising that something as batshit crazy as that could happen. Yeah. I know, it's so hard to believe. Yeah. Morgana wishes for it. She is the one who has... Well, let's be honest. If it wasn't for Morgana, this mansion would have no purpose. And so it does kind of make sense that she is the one who has the power of everything, because she has totally influenced Jakob's decision in making this mansion a place with purpose. Yeah, fair enough. I know. So I'm assuming he has a world in his painting, and then he has a world outside of the painting that he can see as well. I'm surprised he was able to live through that, to be honest. But I suppose his connection to Michelle is what kind of made him go on. Yeah, same. Fair. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where will they go? Shut up, Georges. That's probably what they're all thinking. There is, yeah. The fuck does lackadaisical mean? I'd assume light-hearted? Fair. Oh god, what's this? Holy fucking shit. I'm sorry. Oh god, I don't want to do this, but I've got to go to bed. This gives me something to really look forward to tomorrow though. Holy shit. Yeah, you never thought it was going to be that simple. So it's interesting when I was thinking about Didier. And this might be just some sort of indication that he is still there. So I suppose that's really going to change our view of the situation. It's going to change how everything ends. And in general, it's going to be really quite exciting. So yeah, it was a really quite sweet ending, seeing just Morgana's character change, obviously seeing Georges as well. And in general, just seeing how Michelle has really convinced Morgana. And also, it's interesting to seeing Morgana having all of the feelings that she probably should have for Jacopo, for Michelle. Just Michelle was the only person that can make her genuinely happy, and the person that she can maybe even smile for. Who knows? Maybe even laugh for in a parallel universe. Now, if I'm going to be honest, I have Requiem for Innocence on my Steam library, so I have seen the game art, unfortunately. So I know that Morgana's face is there. So I'm just really wondering if this is all going to be like a little prologue, if you like a prequel to Requiem for Innocence. I really wonder. And by the way, can I just mention, final chapter, and yet there's something here. It's going to be interesting to think about the fact that this is the final chapter, especially considering what will happen next, because whatever it is, it's something of real significance. And I really wonder what it's going to be. I just wonder what will happen next, really, because it definitely doesn't look good. It doesn't look like the light that they were really expecting, and the light that, let's be honest, they deserve. So, yeah, it's going to be really quite exciting just to see how it will change. My god. And I just really wonder what these things are. I wonder if they're going to unlock when we've 100%ed the game. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.